rushing finality of her words. Jack, I'm sorry. I was someplace else. Terry sighed, her patience wearing thin, her voice tinged with exasperation. When you come back, could you lift it a little higher? Sure, Vicky, Jack mumbled, still lost in his thoughts, his mind unable to escape the painful replay. Terry threw her hands up in exasperation, a frustrated sound escaping her lips. Terry, don't push. Oh, hurry it up. This thing is heavy. Larry, their landlord, Mr. Furley's nephew and general handyman, grunted from the other side of the organ. He was a sweet, somewhat clumsy man, always eager to help, though not always effectively, his efforts often leading to more chaos than calm. The organ. Where do you want us to put it? Larry asked, his voice strained, his muscles protesting the weight. This thing is heavy, Jack echoed, finally focusing on the task at hand, his own frustration mirroring Larry's. Any place for now. Okay. Will you put it down? Terry instructed, her voice a little sharper than usual. Larry immediately dropped his side of the organ with a thud. Will you pick it up? Terry cried, as the organ tilted precariously, threatening to topple over. You said put it down, Larry protested, rubbing his sore hands, his face a mask of confusion. But not on my foot. Pick it up, Terry yelped, hopping on one foot, narrowly avoiding injury. Ah, Mr. Furley, Larry, would you just put it over there, please? Jack pointed to a less perilous spot, trying to regain control of the chaotic situation, his voice laced with exasperation. Okay, come on, Larry grumbled, and with a combined, strained effort, they managed to place the organ against the wall, its heavy presence a silent testament to their struggle. Now, Terry clapped her hands, taking charge, her efficiency a welcome balm to the chaos. Now, Larry, I want you to run out and pick up the flowers, paper napkins, and plates. Cinderella, all I hear is Cinderella. Larry muttered under his breath as he headed for the door, a familiar complaint that always made Janet smile. Even today, a small flicker of amusement in her eyes. Janet, now in her wedding dress, a vision of bridal beauty, emerged from the bedroom, looking radiant despite her earlier anxieties. Well, I understand Janet's parents can't come out to the wedding, Larry remarked, pausing at the door, always full of unsolicited observations. Yet, Janet and Phil are gonna fly back and see them afterwards, Terry confirmed, her voice matched. Well, who's gonna give the bride away? Larry asked, his curiosity insatiable. I am, Jack announced, a faint smile touching his lips, a small comfort in his current state of emotional turmoil. It was an honor he cherished, a brief respite from his pain. You and who's gonna be the flower girl? Larry teased, a playful glint in his eye. No, I was just kidding. Jack waved him off, a weary sigh escaping him. Wait a minute. Larry paused again, a thoughtful look on his face, a sudden realization dawning on him. If Janet's mother isn't gonna be here, who's gonna talk to Janet about whatever a young bride should know? Terry rolled her eyes, a familiar gesture of exasperation. Mr. Furley, I wouldn't worry about it. She glanced at Janet, who looked a little uncomfortable, a blush rising to her cheeks. Where is Janet? In her bedroom, Jack replied, still trying to shake off the lingering sadness from Vicky's departure, the heavy weight in his heart. Just then, Mr. Furley, their perpetually flustered landlord, bustled in, his usual nervous energy amplified by the wedding preparations, his face a mask of sadness. He was a man of strict rules, and even stricter morals, a constant source of amusement and occasional exasperation for the trio. Excuse me, he announced, clearing his throat dramatically, drawing attention to himself. Come in, Janet called from her room, her voice a little muffled. Oh, hi, Mr. Janet greeted him as he entered her room, a polite smile on her face. Hello, Janet. Janet, I think it's time that you and I had a little talk, Mr. Furley declared, his chest puffed out with self-importance, his voice filled with a profound solemnity. Janet, wide-eyed, looked at him with a mixture of amusement and apprehension, bracing herself for whatever wisdom he was about to impart.
Okay, what about?
Mr. Furley cleared his throat again, adjusting his tie with a meticulous flourish. Well, about men and women. What goes on between them when they're married? He leaned in conspiratorially, his voice dropping to a low whisper. Come on, no questions. I'm gonna cover everything. Now, Janet, We are living in the 80s, so I think we can be perfectly frank. To begin with, men have certain needs. Janet, trying to suppress a giggle, nodded solemnly, maintaining a facade of serious attention. So do women. Mr. Furley blinked, genuinely surprised, his eyes wide with a sudden revelation. They do. Of course, they do, Mr. Furley. Women are every bit as warm and passionate as men, Janet replied, a hint of playful defiance in her voice. They are. He looked utterly flummoxed, his carefully constructed worldview momentarily shattered. Yes, then why do they always act like they're doing me a favor? His voice dropped to a genuine whisper, a heartfelt plea for understanding, exposing a vulnerability he rarely showed. Back in the living room, Jack was trying to focus on hanging a banner, his mind still preoccupied with Vicky. Jack, do you think we need something else over the door? Terry asked, trying to draw him back into the present, to the task at hand. Did you say something? Jack asked, his gaze still distant. I said, why don't you just call Vicky and get it over with? Terry suggested, her voice laced with concern, knowing him too well, seeing through his facade of indifference. Why doesn't she call me? Jack retorted, a flash of pride igniting in his eyes, a stubborn refusal to make the first move. Good question, Terry replied, ever the pragmatist, cutting straight to the chase. Terry, please, I'd like to do this my own way. Is that all right? Jack's voice held a hint of frustration, a plea for space, for time to process his emotions. Oh, Jack, I hate to see you moping around like this. This is Janet's wedding day, Terry reminded him, her voice softening, a gentle nudge back to reality. Jack looked around at the festive decorations, a wave of guilt washing over him. Yeah, you're right, Terry. On a day as important as this, I'm not gonna let some girl make me miserable. He straightened his shoulders, forcing a smile, a determined resolve settling over him. I'm in pain. Suddenly, Mrs. Keneal, the organist, a sweet but scatterbrained woman, began to play the wedding march, a little prematurely. But I don't want you to start the wedding march until I cue you, Mrs. Keneal. Jack rushed over to her, trying to stop the premature music, to avert a potential disaster. Oh, I just love weddings, don't you? Mrs. Keneal beamed, oblivious to his distress, lost in the romance of the moment. Do you like watching train wrecks? Jack muttered under his breath, his sarcasm a coping mechanism. Just then, Larry burst back in, his eyes wide with excitement. Hey, everybody, I bet that's the bridegroom. Look, who's here? Terry announced, as Philip, looking dapper in his suit, entered the apartment, followed by his best man, Tony Williams. Hey, Philip, Jack greeted him, forcing a cheerful tone, pushing his own worries aside for his friend. Howdy, Jack. It's a big day, huh? Philip's grin was infectious, his excitement palpable, radiating through the room. You got it. Oh, Jack, this is my best man, Tony Williams. Philip introduced his friend, a tall, handsome man. Hi, welcome. Jack shook Tony's hand, a brief moment of camaraderie. Thank you, Tony replied, a polite smile on his face. I'll go tell Janet you're here, Jack offered, grateful for a distraction, for an excuse to escape the lingering tension. He found Janet in her room, looking absolutely stunning in her white gown, a vision of bridal beauty. It's me. Can I come in? Yes, Janet replied, her voice a little shaky, a mix of nerves and excitement. Terry, who was helping with the final touches, instructed, Terry, just make sure it's, like, straight across the bottom. So, Jack stopped, mesmerized by Janet's beauty, a profound affection welling up within him. What's the matter? Oh, Janet, you look so beautiful. His voice was thick with emotion, a genuine outpouring of love for his friend. Janet's eyes welled up, a tear threatening to spill. Oh, Jack Tripper, if you make me cry, I'm gonna kill you. I just wanted to tell you Philip's out there, Jack quickly said, knowing how important it was for her to compose herself, to maintain her bridal composure. Oh, then I'm not gonna kill you. She laughed, wiping away a stray tear, her mood shifting rapidly. Are you happy, Janet? Jack asked, his voice soft, gentle. Yes, Jack, I am, but I'd be even happier if Vicky was here. Her words were a gentle echo of his own unspoken thoughts, a shared longing. So would I, Jack admitted, a fresh pang of sadness, a renewed ache in his heart. The minister's here. Mr. Furley, who had been hovering nearby, ever the stickler for schedules, interjected. Mr. Furley, just a few minutes. Jack, Terry, I wanted to. Jeanette began, wanting a private moment with her friends before the ceremony.